I would like to say in my closing statement
is
that we have a big part of education is changing the mentality of people. And we have to change the mentality of the races or the people in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is what I was trying to say. I did not broad brush Indian people. I would not broad brush because we have a mentality as Afro-Trinidadians and the Indians have their mentality, both of which in many regards, many aspects are negative. And that has impacted the whole racial situation in Trinidad and Tobago. But how can we fight? How can we fight racism? And part of your question used the word eliminate. I don't believe we'll ever be able to eliminate the impact of racism in Trinidad. We can decrease it. And we decrease that, as Dr. Lashley said at the beginning of the program, with education. Education, as Mr. James said, we make sure that our government represents, that our government representative reflect the community so people can see people like them represents them. How can we fight racism? Acknowledge racism in all of its forms. Education, acknowledging racism in all of its forms. Speak out against it, protest against it, advocate against it. Call out your own. Call out your own when racism is perpetuated. Be quick to exercise solidarity when groups other than your own are facing racism. Overturn racist and discriminatory laws, as Dr. Lashley was saying. Overturn racist and discriminatory laws, and of course put laws into place that will help to decrease the impact of racism. We need to be committed to anti-racism. We need to be committed to anti-racism, and to do that, we have to address the mentality of the people, which goes back to education. That starts from the little child, infancy, right up to the terminal degree. Education, education, education. That's my 2 P's for today.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Professor. Tonight is a night that I really wanted it to happen. I'm glad it has happened. And I want to thank you. I want to thank Brother Anthony. I want to thank Dr. Lashley. And now we are going to hear from Avanell Hazel's closing statement.
So for my community of Trinidad and Tobago, I want to encourage everyone to recognize that biases can be unconscious and unintentional. I think we need to stand committed to diversity, inclusion, and equity. I believe that diversity, inclusion, and equity makes us more innovative, creative, and very productive. It is important that we address systemic racism. We need to promote and speak amongst ourselves as a community about racism, face head on. And we need to unlearn behaviors and assumptions and be able to humbly admit when we are doing wrong. Okay, even when the situation makes us uncomfortable, we must be able to admit it. We need to build a better pathway to increase the diversity within our leadership and how we make the difference. And lastly, we need to actively challenge the policies that start and feeds and breeds such an oppressive and inequality among our community. We need to change the narrative. We have to face it head on.
Brother Anthony, you are a Christian man, you go to church. Can you just give us something, tell us something where the church stands right now and what you think the church should do about racism?
Well, the message of the foundation of the church, which is Jesus Christ, is found in the constitution of the church, which is to love thy neighbor as thyself. Yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the constitution of the church, to love thy neighbor as thyself. That's the message of the church, and perhaps maybe the church should get more active in preaching the message to the world. Yeah, that's my response to that.
Thank you very much, Brother Anthony. Night is a special night for me. See, I went through a trauma the last election, and I could never believe that my people at this time, in the 21st century, 21 years in a new century, that we still treating people and treating one another this way. Trinidad and Tobago, they're not even at racism state. We are at apartheid stage. We separating one another in a way where we taking lives. We killing one another because of race. And tonight, when God bring me the revelation to bring this song, that song never come to my head weeks. It came this evening when I was writing. Me even read what I write. I write today. Because something telling me that we only talking about God, but we really don't mean God. He said, write it down. Write it down on the tablet. Write it down in your heart. It says, write it down so that you wouldn't forget. Write it down that you will not live your life not knowing what I want out of you. His will must be done. We were forged from the love of liberty. Some people don't want to hear the anthem. Some people doesn't sing it. Many people don't know. But there are parts of the anthem that could teach us how we should live. Because until we do that part of the anthem, until we come together as one, until we unite, this God bless our nation, that not happen. That is why our country is so cursed. Because we are abusing the language and we are abusing the words. How many of us know it's an Asian man, a Chinese man that wrote the national anthem? How many of us know that? Any of the boys in Delaford streets all around the place know that. How many politicians really know that? How many people know that is the Venezuelans that build Piaco Airport? How many of us know that? So when we want to use race and blow it up in people's face, but we don't know our history. I'm sorry that I have to engage people tonight for the second time without a definite question to give to the Prime Minister, to force him to understand that he is part and parcel as long as all others who are not taking it upon themselves to bring order to the races in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not two races, of many varied races. But we must possess some form of commonality, which is common love. The love that's common. The love that we all talking about, Jesus and agape love and whatever love. We don't have that love in us. Tonight it hurts. Because the worst election that I have ever witnessed is the election that passed. And even our president said she would address that dilapidated election that just passed. where we would have had our first black election results ever. That's the election report show me that no one party is going to rule his people. And that election just shifted. Oreo, back for black, just some simple, meaningless words. Governments trying to say if the win, what they will do. Indians saying if the Negro win, what they will do. Well, now we see the Negro Party. It's not a Negro Party here, but the chief racist man, him, leading down a group of people, everybody, whether you're Indian, you're whomever, down a path where people still suffering the same way before the election.
What you call him, the chief racist man, you call him?
Something. This is not fair.
Many people will disagree with you actually with that. Many people will disagree with you with that.
It doesn't matter me. I'm not here for people.
Yeah.
In that sense, I'm here because of the people. God didn't put me as no politician. He put me here for the people, his people. It doesn't matter me. Who doesn't like what I have to say? I am not going to jail for my speech.
If I understand you clearly, you believe the bulk of the racism in Trinidad
is at the head of every government. They have to change it.
So no. I'm just talking in terms of the practice of racism. I'm just asking. I don't know. Just want to be clear. You believe?
Stop asking questions that you already know the answer. Don't commit me to
No.
What you doing now, my family is trying to commit me, and I couldn't commit you.
No. I'm just trying to understand.
Now you have answered my questions tonight. Do you know that?
You feel so?
No, you didn't.
No.
House of Assembly, and you just put, but now your hand by your mouth. You're looking down on the ground. You're ready to crisscross me. I am not going to.
Maybe you like my answer, maybe, but
I think at the end of the day, we have to call it what it is, because the fact that they could use that rhetoric within the election, that shows that systemic racism within them.
Which rhetoric are you referring to?
I'm talking about the fact that they're saying, yes.
Avanel, please don't give Mr. James any words, any ideas. He knows what you're talking about.
He knows. It's in plain sight.
We're not playing games here tonight. We came here for a reason.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr. James, for your contribution. I want to thank Dr. Earl Henry for his contribution. I want to thank you, Avanel, for your contributions. I want to thank Dr. Lashley, and I want to thank Dr. Duke. Dr. Duke, you have anything to say? Please. Dr. Duke, please.
What I have to say is the conversation regarding race is a very long one. There's no one person who is responsible for a conversation about race. And the truth is, when we speak about education, education has to come from a national standpoint, not just personal.
Right.
It has to come from the top. It has to come first by actually just reconciling the truth about the history of the country and the truth about the history of the peoples. And it's not just some performances on certain days, right? I think we move towards some equity by we have Emancipation Day and we have Indian Arrival Day. We also have First Nations Day, First Peoples Day, which is great because the truth is we really, if we're talking equity, there's so many layers to equity in all over the world, but you think about the native Trinidadians, how many of us actually talk about that? How many of us actually talk about the fact that Tobago was wiped clean of its native peoples, right? And, you know, there are just so many things we haven't actually accepted or reconciled. We use language like we're African, but we haven't reconciled that part of the Africanness of the people and the fact that it's people of African heritage from diverse African backgrounds. How much have we done to really educate the people on the diversity of the people who came to the two islands?
How many Africans that came to these islands that they were Muslims, there wasn't Christians?
Yeah, some were Muslim, some were already Christian actually. You know, they weren't all converted upon arrival, so some were Christian before they got there.
Brother Muhammad, he already was in Africa.
So was Christianity, though. So again, you know, the truth is, though, when you talk about race always leads to heated conversation. It always leads to conversations that will derail other conversations because that's the nature, and that's why it was created. It's why it was created. There's no better way to
divide and
derail and to divide and to conquer than to bring up race and identity, right? Because again, you're literally seeking to speak of the very way someone sees themselves in the mirror. You're seeking to speak of what they believe is who they are, and that can be quite problematic. I think when you're people who also feel like you haven't been given a fair shot, the last thing you're willing to hear is conversations about how you yourself may not have been living up to the ideals you want people to mete out to you.
Yeah.
So that can be really hard. So my closing statement is the show is ending. There is no thought from this show or Mama Coco about anybody being a chief racist. I think what she was saying actually is people who played along with language, assuming race as a divider.
Yes.
This show did not call any one person a racist, nor is saying any one party is racist. The truth is there's a structural problem that extends well beyond that country, but the show was about that country. And until people have the conversations, what we're going to see is lots of jokes. We see memes even referring to people's races, referring to their countries, their ancestral countries of origin, as opposed to the country they're born and raised in. We see it referred to even with our ministers, our attorneys general, all that stuff. It's actually used a lot, and that's why I said it's very violent language. That's why personally, you know this, I feel very strongly. I don't engage in conversations about race with Trinidad and Tobagonian people because I feel strongly that they're not there for the conversation. The conversation gets derailed. I applaud you for attempting it, but I'm willing to say I don't know that your show is going to be the solution, because the people are not committed to solutions. I think the people like bringing it out when they need to.
People complain. When you and you have a problem, your teacher is there to solve a problem. How can we solve this? Why aren't we willing to call out our president, to call out our prime ministers, to let them know the language is like this are our time and this are our time? That's not the language that you should make your people that are supporting you and put you in power speak. A lot of Indians are suffering. A lot of Negroes are suffering. Why can't we try?
You can tell the people that I, on 3 occasions this week, said, you're having a show about race. I don't see an Indian person on your panel, right?
I couldn't get any.
And I said it over and over.
Indians are afraid to speak their mind, to speak their truth. and everybody just want to come to talk about another race. I am not here with the race talk. I am here with trying to see if we can get the conversation started to start from the head down. Tail-line people not doing a good job. The small man on the street not doing a good job. We want administration like Alwari and them to know the temperature of the day. And it's a serious problem. Dr. Lashley, you have something to say?
Efforts. I teach American history. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I teach American history. In 1865, slavery was abolished. In 1870, black people could vote. It was not until 1965 that all that came to head. And so it's going to take a lot of time to get people to make the laws that they should to get certain things done. It could take 30 years, but if you don't begin where you are, we'll never get to where we need to be. So I want to encourage you in what you're doing. We have to try to get the politicians now to make certain laws. Other than that, we'll be talking forever. We have to get them to make certain laws.
Dr. Lashley, that we should have another show.
I think what we need to do is we need to be able to draft laws that we can take to Parliament. Why can't we draft what we are recommending and have some of the lawyers among us take that into Parliament? Let that be a part of discussion. Other than that, yes, ma'am.
Dr. Earl Lashley raised a point.
Okay, I thought we had made a final
yes,
already.
Just said that we should.
I agree.
Oh yes, I concur 100%. Yeah, oh, most definitely.
But James, there, do you think it's a great idea, seeing that you are writing to the president?
Actually, the subject is much deeper than we have gone, right? Really, because the first beginning, I don't think that it's just simply a case because you have Indians and you have Africans that you have anxiety. It is deeper than that. Once you have anxiety, it speaks to the question of power. It speaks to the question of powerlessness. It speaks to the question of having and the question of not having. It speaks to the question of power again and vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? And apart from that, what we have inherited, you have brought Africans, Indians, and a myriad of other peoples, plus you have Tobago in the equation. We didn't discuss Tobago, right? So you're having fundamentally the different races in Trinidad, but majorly you have the Afro-Trinidadian, the Indo-Trinidad, and you have Tobago. And then you are putting that into a British constitution, a British culture and constitution. That spirit is there.
Did you hear what he said?
Say that to me?
Did you hear what Dr. Lashley said?
Of course.
What he said, I'm asking.
He said, hold on. He's saying to make laws.
No.
Laws.
He said, can we formulate petitions and write to the powers that be so that we can get ready to change the laws and make legislation?
That's my point. And I'm saying to you, laws do not change a society.
Oh.
Laws don't change a society. I think Dr. Earl was making that point earlier on.
Mentality.
It's about philosophy. You're getting frustrated. You shouldn't be.
Do you think I'm gonna be frustrated and still have you talking, or still this show would end?
So here I'm saying. What I'm saying.
Did you hear what Dr. Lashley said?
I heard what he said, and if I have to answer it in a very short statement, I'm saying that I disagree.
Okay.
I'm in a short statement because I'm saying it's deeper than that.
Well, no, we're not gonna start a new show.
Well, I understand that, but you asked for my response.
Yes, but the answer is no. That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tonight, I want to thank Dr. Duke for her patience and for the time that she spent here with us. I want to thank you, Anthony. for your time that you spent here with us. We have learned a great deal, and I learned something extra about you. That your language really not the best one when you are around me.
So that's not fair.
Yes.
That's not fair.
Yes. Let's talk.
That is not fair.
Let's talk now. You sat there and you performed all kind of.
No, that's not fair at all. That is not fair. And I mean, but I will insist. I'm telling you, this is much deeper.
Well,
and you see what happened? I try to behave myself. If you ask people in my earlier incarnation,
you see what happened to you?
Yeah.
You don't know how to interact with other guests.
No. I'm accustomed to doing that.
No.
Listen, the reason why.
I got to watch my new shows.
Let me say
this. I want to thank you for coming.
Hear this before.
Earl Henry, and I want to thank my audience tonight. I believe that my cousin, Mr. James, believe that I like to argue. I really don't. And discussions. We are here with discussions, and I like how you want to always bring the show to your order.
Why are you accusing me of that?
No.
Why are you accusing me of that?
I want to say thank you. And I want to thank the audience. The peace of God, which surpasses all human intelligence. And Brother Anthony, I'm going to be calling you tonight. I can talk to you. You are coming on your cousin Mama Coco show, and we have to keep it real.
Well, I am real.
No, not tonight.
No. This is the first time I've been accused of
you have to answer questions, Mr. Anthony. And I know you can answer them.
No, it depends on what you are, as I said.
You see, you have signed a waiver. So you have your rights not to answer if you don't.
No.
Listen to me. You see, this is what it makes you and me. You see, you want to make sure you finish saying things.
I just back because we both have very strong personalities and strong views. You know you have very strong views, right?
Have to be checked.
Yeah, but you know you have very strong views. So, you know that.
Gentlemen, I want to tell you good night. Family Anthony James, we will talk later. Ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to stay for 10 minutes after. Do not come off. Anthony, especially you. Sit right there. Don't move.